Right, so add a div. Now that we know about HTML element nesting and parent-child relationships, let's see another way these concepts are applied on a real-life web page. Div elements divide your page by enclosing other elements. These enclosed groups of elements can then be organized, moved, and styled independently from one another. Div elements are often used with a class attribute. Here's an example. Note, the period indicates whether other HTML elements would normally be enclosed by the div. Below, we will use divs to divide our page into three separate parts. Instructions number 1. First, we will enclose all the elements between body tags in a div element with a class attribute of container. All the HTML elements you added in previous exercises should be inside the opening div class container, the nav bar h2, and then the video tags. Right, so nav bar h2. So we're going to start off with the div here. We need to give it a class. Container. I'm just gonna space around the div tag so that you can see clearly what's happening. Now it compares to the web page. The conversion of the web page. Let's run that. Number 2. Next, we will enclose the nav h2 and UL in another div and give it a class attribute of nav. So the nav bar h2. So class of nav. Okay, so number 3, finally enclose the company h1, the h3, paragraph, and video elements inside a third div with the class attribute of main. Feel free to use the code below as a guide. So starting from h1 to video. So right through video. So h1. And this should add a class attribute of main. So let's run that. Right. Those 3 div tags have made quite a difference to our web page. It says here there will now be a total of 3 divs on the web page. On the page, the div with the container class contains the divs with the nav and main classes. Run your code. The file main.css contains CSS styling for the container, nav, and main classes, which enable page elements to change. If you're curious, explore main.css for fun. We will learn how CSS works later in the course. We could just, like, for instance, take one of the h1 tags and change the color. For instance, red. And what else can we change? Let's change the p tags to contrasting colors, maybe. Yeah, because the p tags look a bit dull. So I don't know. Let's just make it blue. Yeah, and it's the font size is a bit small, so let's just change the font size to 30 pixels. It looks a bit better. It's actually a bit too big. Just make it. Yeah. Right. Okay, so let's move forward. Right, metadata, the brains. The last HTML elements we will explore involved in metadata processes. You can think of these elements as the brains of a web page because they communicate vital information to the web browser, but are not visible to a web page visitor. The doc type HTML tells the web browser to expect an HTML document. HTML body tags, or the HTML tags, the root of the HTML document and parent of all other HTML elements on the web page. The head tags enclose other metadata about the site, such as its title. Title tags contains the site's title, which is one way users can find your site through a search engine like Google. Meta Trusted UTF-8 tells the web browser which character set to use. In this case, the character set is the UTF-8. Right, so instructions identify the HTML head, title, meta trusted elements, and doc type declaration. Right, so there's the HTML elements, there's the meta trusted, there's the title tags. Right, div tags, you name it. The HTML tags, the body tags. That's it. Let's move forward. Alright, so HTML review. Congratulations, you've learned enough HTML to create a great website. Before we move on to styling with CSS, let's review what we've learned in this lesson. So languages, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and is used to give a web page structure. So basically the bones of the website, the structure of the website. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets and is used for to style HTML elements like font styling, borders, divs, all the color, anything to do with color and styling. You do that all in CSS. So HTML elements, we get H1 to H6 tags, P tags, the A tag for the links, then the image tags, which is a self-closing tag. Then you get the video tags and unordered lists, which is the UL tags. And then the div tags organizes data on web pages. And then we get the parent and child elements. Right, so let's move on.